Alright, let's jump right in. Welcome to our guide on functions and relations. I know this topic pops up all the time on your WAEC, JAMB, and NECO exams, and it can seem a little, well, confusing. But I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to see how straightforward it really is. We are going to break it all down nice and easy. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to nail down what a function actually is. Then we'll get into the language, the lingo you need to know, like domain and range. After that, we'll look at a super simple visual test for graphs, solve some real past exam questions together, and then wrap it all up with a final cheat sheet for you to take away. First things first, what in the world is a function? I'm telling you, if you can just get this one core idea, the rest of the topic just clicks into place. So let's ask the big question, the one your exams love to test in different ways. What's the real difference between a relation and a function? What makes a function so special? And here it is, the big secret. A relation is, well, it's basically any connection between numbers. It's pretty relaxed, but a function, a function is a special kind of relation with one single unbreakable rule. For every input you put in, you get exactly one output back, not two, not zero, just one. That's it. In this picture makes it so clear. Look at the diagram on the left. That's our function. See how every input has just one clean line going to an output. Nice and orderly. But now, look at the one on the right. That one input is trying to be greedy, connecting to two different outputs. That breaks the rule. That's why it's just a relation, not a function. Okay, so now that we've got the main rule down, we've got to learn to speak the language, right? Your examiners use specific words, and knowing what they mean is half the battle. First up is the word domain. Don't let it scare you. It's just the official fancy name for all the inputs. It's the collection of all the numbers you are allowed to put into the function. Just think of them as your X values. And you guessed it, if the domain is what you put in, the range is everything you get out. It's the set of all the answers or results the function spits out after it's done its job. These are your Y values. Let's look at a quick example to make it real. The function is f of x equals x squared. Our inputs, the domain, are on the left. 1, 2, and 3. The function just squares each one, giving us the outputs on the right are range. 1, 4, and 9. See? It's just a simple input-output machine. Now this f of x thing, I know it looks a bit weird the first time you see it. Please, don't let it freak you out. You just read it as f of x, and it's basically a fancy substitute for the letter y. It's the function's way of saying, hey, give me an x, and I'll tell you what answer you get. That's all there is to it. Okay, theory is great, but your exams love to show you graphs. So let me show you a super fast visual trick to spot a function in seconds. This is one of the easiest tests in all of math. I'm serious. It's called the vertical line test. The rule is dead simple. If you can draw a straight up and down line anywhere on a graph, and it hits the curve more than once, it is not a function. End of story. And here it is in action. Look at the parabola on the left. No matter where you draw a vertical line, it only ever touches the graph in one spot. It passes the test. That's a function. But now look at the circle. A single vertical line can slice through it in two places. That means one X input is giving two different Y outputs. That's a major foul. And that's why a circle is a relation, but it's not a function. Alright, theory time is over. Let's get our hands dirty and apply all this to some real past exam questions. This is where you really see how it all comes together. Here's a classic from a WAEC paper. They give us the function f of x equals 3x minus 5, and they want us to find f of 2. So how do we solve this? It's really just following instructions. That f of 2 is telling us to replace every single x we see with the number 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. Then 6 minus 5 leaves us with our final answer, which is just 1. Easy, right? Let's try another one. A little more involved from a 2020 WAEC paper. Our function is 2x squared plus 1. This time, they give us a whole set of inputs. Our domain is -1, 0, 1. Our job is to find the entire set of outputs, the range. So we just run the process for each number. Plug in -1, and you get 3. Plug in 0, you get 1. Plug in 1, and you get 3 again. Now listen up, because here's the exam trick. When you write the final range, you only list each unique number once. Even though we got 3 twice, it only gets 1 spot in the final set. So the range is just 1, 3. I love this question from JAMB. It's a thinking question, not just a calculation one. Is this relation x squared plus y squared equals 9 a function? Well, think back to our visual test. What kind of shape does that equation make? Yep, it's a circle. And the algebra proves why. When you rearrange the equation to solve for y, you have to take a square root. And what always comes with a square root? That little plus or minus sign. That symbol is the smoking gun. It means for one input x, you get 2 outputs, a positive one and a negative one. And that breaks our number 1 rule, so this is definitely not a function. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. So let's boil it all down to the absolute must-knows. This is your final cheat sheet to carry in your head on exam day. Alright, let's lock this in. The number 1 rule, the most important thing, a function has 1 output for each input. Period. Know your vocabulary. Domain is your inputs, range is your outputs. Don't get scared by f of x notation. It's just a command telling you what to plug in. For graphs, the vertical line test is your best friend. And some exam-specific tips. For WAEC, really focus on finding the range. For JAMB, practice being fast with your substitutions. And for NECO, always double-check your domain and range answers. Look, if you remember nothing else from our little chat today, remember this one simple phrase. 1 input, 1 output. That is the absolute heart of what a function is. It will guide you through almost any question they can possibly throw at you. And that's it. The key now is just practice. Take these ideas, go find some more past questions, and just walk through them. You have all the tools you need. So go forward with confidence and you will absolutely ace functions and relations in your exams. Good luck. Try these questions and log into www.examkp.com for solutions to answers. Number 1. If x plus 2 and x, 1 are factors of the expression L times 3 plus 2k times 2 plus 24. Find the values of L and k. Number 2. Find the gradient of the line passing through the points, -2, 0, and 0, -4. Number 3. The implication x. Y is equivalent to